All right, welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to dive into this with you today. As an English tutor, I constantly see learners struggling to talk about their free time in a way that actually fits the situation. Well, we're going to fix that today. In this explainer, we'll learn exactly how to talk about our hobbies across totally different real-life situations, using a super simple approach that works perfectly, even if you're just starting out.
So here is our agenda for today. We'll hit 5 key points. 1. The importance of free time. 2. Productive versus relaxing activities. 3. Job interviews. 4. Social contexts. And 5. Profitable versus expensive hobbies.
Section 1. Introduction. The importance of free time. First impressions matter, right? The words we choose to describe our hobbies leave a massive impression on whoever's listening.
Moving to Section 2. Productive versus relaxing activities. To really master this vocabulary, it's incredibly helpful to divide our leisure time into 2 simple categories.
First up, we've got productive activities. These are practical, active tasks where you're really focused on getting results, like doing volunteer work for a local charity, for example. On the flip side, we have relaxing activities. These are therapeutic. They calm the mind. Think of curling up with a good book, doing some yoga, or just tending to a garden. Grasping this basic difference? That's our foundation for today.
Section 3. Describing hobbies in job interviews. Picture this. You're wearing your best professional outfit sitting across from a hiring manager. The adjectives you pick here can literally make or break how professional you sound.
Our first absolute power word is rewarding. This is essential for interviews, especially when you're talking about things like charity work. When you call an activity rewarding, you are telling them it gives you a deep sense of inner satisfaction and positive experiences. You aren't just killing time, you're finding purpose.
Let's hear a realistic example of how this actually sounds. The conservation work I do is very rewarding. I feel I'm doing something good and useful. See what we did there? Using the word rewarding instantly signals to the manager that you're a candidate who actively looks for value and impact.
Now, our next word is time-consuming. Honestly, you might think saying something takes up a lot of time sounds negative, right? But this is where language gets clever. If you sit in an interview and say, "I was the sports club secretary and it was quite time-consuming, requiring 2 evenings a week," you're actually showing off your intense dedication and your ability to juggle major responsibility.
Let's add one more to your golden interview vocabulary. Fruitful. It means producing good results. This is the absolute perfect word to use when describing a time you successfully collaborated with others. Call your group committee work fruitful, and boom, the hiring manager instantly sees a cooperative team player who actually gets things done.
Section 4. Informal terms for social contexts. Okay, let's completely relax our tone now. How do native speakers actually chat about their free time when they're just hanging out with friends?
Well, English is absolutely packed with these highly visual, fun idioms. For instance, that friend who's always at the theater or an art gallery, we call them a culture vulture. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, someone who just sits on the sofa all day watching TV is a lazy couch potato. An amateur is someone who plays a sport like tennis purely for the love of the game, not as a pro. And then we have the dabbler. You know the type, they start a new hobby every 2 weeks and then just quit because they get bored. Let's look at how to drop these terms naturally into everyday chat. Laura's a shopaholic. She buys all sorts of things she doesn't need. Using the term shopaholic here perfectly describes someone who loves shopping way too much. It's the ideal kind of sentence for a casual gossip session over coffee.
Now, quick pause because this next cultural and linguistic tip is crucial for beginners. Words ending in aholic, like shopaholic for shopping or chocoholic for chocolate, are always used in a playful, lighthearted way. We absolutely must distinguish these from the word alcoholic, which is a serious, recognized medical condition. So definitely never use that one as a joke.
Let's check out a few more phrases native speakers use all the time. To show you're intensely interested in something, say you are heavily into it, like being heavily into skiing. Or you could say you're hooked on motor racing, like you just can't get enough. If someone isolates themselves to listen to music, we say she locks herself away. And if your calendar is just completely packed, you, my friend, have a hectic social life.
Section 5. Profitable versus expensive hobbies. All right, moving to the final part of our lesson, to look at the financial realities of our free time. Because hey, hobbies don't just impact our schedule, they impact our wallets.
First up, we have pursuits that are lucrative, meaning they're financially profitable. Think about selling designer jewelry you made, writing smartphone apps, or doing photography. These actually make you money. On the other hand, we've got those expensive hobbies that will totally drain your budget, like downhill skiing, or of course, constant shopping.
Check out this practical example of turning a creative hobby into a successful side business. Photography has been a lucrative pursuit for her. She often sells her pictures to magazines. Using the word lucrative here is just a fantastic way to describe a passion that has actually turned into a solid source of income.
And that wraps up our explainer for today. We covered a ton of ground, from power words for your next interview like rewarding and fruitful, to fun social idioms like culture vulture. So I have a question to leave you with. Using the vocabulary we just learned, would you say your weekends are time-consuming and busy, or are they wonderfully therapeutic and relaxing? Think about your answer and try sneaking these new words into your next conversation. Catch you in the next explainer.